Hey guys, Ayonu Megami here, and welcome to my new series, History of the Pokemon World. The world of Pokemon has always fascinated me, in particular how the Pokemon franchise takes its cue from the real world to reimagine places, cities, and legends in a new light. On the other hand, one of the many things that leave me frustrated every time I play a Pokemon game is the lack of history and lore of this world and its many regions. How are religion practiced in the Pokemon world? Against which kingdom did that ancient kingdom go to war with? How did the relationship between Pokemon and humans develop? Is man a descendant of Mew? Has there ever been a major world event involving all the regions of the Pokemon world? This series was born to give answers to such questions and dilemmas. Get ready for a journey across space-time that will take us to the dawn of time. We will visit ancient kingdoms, assist to worlds that changed the course of history, and meet historical characters and Pokemon whose names and deeds are still narrated to this day. Disclaimers: this video is only for entertainment purpose only, and it wasn't made to speculate on the official lore or present or future Pokemon games. Since the concept of multiverse was already introduced in the Pokemon series, you can view these videos as an alternative universe where things went a little bit differently from the official timeline. Also, I will be using character placeholders from various media to make the video more engaging. With that sorted out, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright Dialga, prossima fermata, Kanto. More than 300 millions of years ago, after the creation of the multiverse by Arceus and his children, Groudon, the titan of the continents, Kyogre, the titan of the oceans, Rayquaza, the titan of the sky, and Regigigas, the shepherd demiurge, were born. Soon after their birth, Groudon and Kyogre eternal rivalry begins. Their millennial struggle will end up creating and destroying continents and oceans. After their first long battle, Kyogre and Groudon retreated into a lethargy that will last for millennials, only to wake up and continue their fight once again. They will keep on waking up, fighting, resting for the entire duration of the primal age. And then after their forces were again all drawn, they will return to their deep slumber. During the lethargy of the two titans, life started flourishing in the primordial oceans. Prehistoric Pokemon like Omanite, Kabuto, and Mewtwo, the cellular form of the Pokemon Nova species, began appearing during this era. Omanite, Kabuto, and Mewtwo ventured to the mainland, where they undergo mutations to survive the new habitat. Groudon and Kyogre reawakened from the slumber once again. Most of the prehistoric Pokemon that still lived in the sea succumbed to the catastrophic clash between primal Kyogre and primal Groudon. This event is known as the first wave of mass extinctions, the first of the 4 mass extinctions of the Pokemon world. The Pokemon that settled on the mainland survived thanks to Regigigas' intervention. Kyogre and Groudon, after the long battle, returned to lethargy once again. Regigigas began his titanical task of moving the continent, setting them in their current position, a mission that took the giant Pokemon millions of years to accomplish. Mew, the first ruler of the land and ancestor of today humans, monster Pokemon, human-like Pokemon and field Pokemon, began their mutation into different Pokemons. The mutation factor of Mew was given by habitat, climate, nutrition, elemental affinity, mental affinity, and physical affinity. The most important descendant of the Mew was the Meolopithecus, the ancestors of human and human-like Pokemon. Around this time, Aerodactyl and other ancestors of flying dragon Pokemon also began to appear. The Cantonese mineral Pokemon ancestors and the Cantonese grass Pokemon ancestors also appeared during this time. By now, the population of Mew has drastically declined, as most of them mutated into other species of Pokemon. Mews disappeared from the terrestrial fauna, except for a few specimens that took refuge on a remote island of the Eastern Ocean and the Western Ocean. While the seas and beaches of Kanto were dominated by Kabutos and Omastars, the sky and the land were conquered by Aerodactyl and the ancestors of Cantonese flying dragon Pokémon. The Omastars and Kabutops became extinct during the second wave of mass extinctions, and their descendants, the water Pokémon 1, 2, 3 and the bug Pokémon, will rule the world in the years to come. In their stead, two of the hypothetical causes cited as the reason of the second mass extinctions were a chemical change in the environment and the countless mutation of the Pokémon Mew. The Mew Zygotas and Mew were the favorite and more nutritious prey of many of these now extinct predators. However, the recent mutation of the ancestor of the Pokémon had made the descendant more agile and faster in fleeing. Other mutation made Mew's descendant more aggressive, thus allowing them to fend off and even fight back their predators. This reason, combined with other individual causes, example Omastar Heavy Shell, broke the end of many of the Pokémon of that period. A catastrophic asteroid impact caused the third wave of mass extinctions. Aerodactyl, the ancestor of the Cantonese dragon flying Pokémon, the ancestor of the grass Pokémon, and the ancestor of the mineral Pokémon become all extinct as well. After yet another clash between each other, Groudon and Kyogre retreat once again into hibernation, and the long period of peace that followed allowed life to properly prosper. The Meolopithecus evolved into two different divided branches. The evolutionary line, Meolopithecus Pokemonidae, strengthened its elemental affinity, and they will later evolve into the human-like Pokémon. The second evolutionary line was the Meolopithecus Hominidae, which, to compensate for the loss of elemental control, it had to find other creative ways to survive. Articuno, Zapdos and Moltres, a family of ancestral Pokémon from elsewhere, settle in Kanto and will become object of legend and myths for the people of the region in the future. The Homo sapiens' first appearance was in Kanto and Johto around the year 17,000 BE. The oldest archaeological evidence of human habitation in Kanto has been dated around this time. The evidence were found in caves of the Seafoam Islands. Apparently, at some point, the native inhabitant abandoned the island for the more resource-rich Chinaba Island. During this period, Regirock was created by Regigigas, and the Homo sapiens began to use rock as tool for living, hunting, and much more. While most Homo sapiens abandoned Kanto and Johto to spread across the world with the help of water Pokémon like Glabras, the one that remained formed the first tribal communities of hunter-gatherers in Kanto. A series of meteors fall to Earth simultaneously, and one of them crashes into the Unova region. The first evidence of human habitation in the Sevi archipelago was discovered on Knot Island on Fortune Island. Traces such as rock shelters, bones, stone tools and pottery relics can be still found today on Mount Emba, the Altering Cave and the Ruin Valley. One of these remaining in particular, the Sevi Venus, a small rock sculpture representing a primitive form of the Pokémon Jinx, was found on Flow Island's Icefall Cave. The Gam people, an indigenous civilization of Kanto, created the first big settlement in eastern Kanto. Cinnabar Island has been inhabited since the Rock Age, and numerous remains from the Terracotta and Sakura period have been found scattered across the island. The Guren archaeological site indicate that at some point during the Rock Age, there was a migration from Seafoam Island to Cinnabar Island. It was hypothesized that the prehistoric people of Seafoam Island left the island in search for a better hunting ground. The population of the Magikarps, once a feared predator of the Cantonese water, underwent a mysterious mutation that caused them to become terribly weak. The first trace of human settlement in the Nibe prefecture date back to at least 15,000 years ago. Moonstone tools found at excavation site near Nibi have been dated to the Rock Age. Ruin Valley and Fortune Island have been inhabited since at least the Terracotta period. Archaeological excavation have brought to light Solar Stone and other remains. Growlite, Meowth, and Pikachu were the first Pokémon to be domesticated by humans. The world entered its early Ice Age, probably caused by the awakening of the Pokémon boundary, Kyurem. From the neighboring region of Johto came the Alph people. The Elf people used the Tojo ice bridge that connected both regions to reach western Kanto, where they settled themselves. The Ponyta family line was domesticated by humans. The fire Pokemon of the evolutionary family of Growlite and Ponyta became essential for the survival of Cantonese, Jotians, and Sinuans and other ancient populations. The Pokemon of the evolutionary family of Sandshrew and Vulpix spread in Kanto and Johto. Regigigas creates Rage Ice, a chain of volcanic eruptions that broke out around the world, together with the returning hibernation of Kyurem, will later lead to the end of the Ice Age. To survive the end of the Ice Age, the evolutionary family of Sandshrew and Vulpix adapted to the sudden climate change by abandoning their ice type. Tools or engraving of Oenic origin suggest visit or settlement of pre-Florabatian Oenic population in both Fortune Island and Quest Island during this period. Both the beginning of the Ice Age and its end were the cause of the fourth and final mass extinction, which, together with other causes such as the excessive hunting by humans, led to the extinction of Pokémon that once proliferated the Winter World. Pokémon such as the ancient family of Swinub, the Sabertooth Shinx, the woolly Reinhorn, and the giant Slakoth, and many more. Registry was first forged by the hands of Regigigas. The ancient civilization of Pokémon and humans were saved by Regigigas and his Regis intervention. Thanks to the colossal Pokémon and his servant, the prehistoric Pokémon and humans were able to survive both the Ice Age and the volcanic eruptions that brought an end to the long winter. The cult of the Regis spreads worldwide. The Gam people and the Elf people learned how to work the metal and ceramic, tools passing from stone tool to iron tools. The terracotta culture began developing in Kanto. All around the region, tribal societies were guided by the authority of the respective tribal chiefs. The tribes were mainly based on gathering, hunting and fishing, but they laid the foundation for the agricultural development that will take place in the following period. The Big People, a seafaring mercantile tribe, settled on the Sevi archipelago. The Bed People probably originated in the southern sea of Owen, either at Evergreen Island or on an island of the Slateport Sea. They will build the 7 Betian colonies on the Sevi archipelago: Serri on Knot Island, Pepengusa on Bon Island, Hahakokusa on Kin Island, Kohakobe on Flo Island, Konitabirako on Chrono Island, Kabu on Fortune Island, and Daikon on Quest Island. Devoted to oversea commerce, they will reach all the way to Sinnoh, Johto, Kitakami, Temujin, Yehuyol, and Tanarahuno. Regigigas, exhausted after using all his strength to help humans and Pokémon alike, exiled himself to Kisaki Temple, where he hibernated himself. Mazara have been inhabited since prehistoric time, with numerous remains from the Terracotta period found within the city limits. In the early Terracotta period, the sea retreated from the Fuchsia Plain, allowing the Gam civilization to settle in the area. The Lime Plain have been occupied since ancient time. The ancient inhabitants of the plain were the Gam people, who will conquer all of Kanto in the years to come. They left some artifacts as testimony of their existence, such as collection of pottery, crafted bones, and clay tables that have been dated to 6,500 years ago. At Tamamushi, burned rice grain and chaff from the Terracotta period have been found, making it the oldest farming site in Kanto. Cults related to Pokémon belonging to the evolution families of Bulbasaur, Charmander and Squirtle began spreading in Kanto. The Bulbasaur family cult was practiced by tribes who dwelt in the earth of the Cantonese forests. Venusaur were essential in the spreading of agriculture in these communities, while the cult of the Charmander family was practiced by mountain folks. This cult was also born during the Ice Age, and it lasted even after the end of the glaciations. In these mountain tribes, Charizard were used to move quickly between the mountains. The cult of the Squirtle family belonged to the coastal fisher tribes, and it was largely popular in the Sevi archipelago as well. The tribe that followed this cult were helped by the Blastoise in navigation and fishing. These ancient cults survive today as legend and folk tales in the various rural villages of the region. Due to a plot hatched against the Regis by the humans, especially many tribal chiefs that feared that the rival could use the Regis to overthrow them, the temple and the idols related to the golem Pokemon were cancelled and destroyed, and the two Regi trios residing in Kanto and Johto were thrown into the sea by the people. The cults of the Regis was banned and forgotten all around the tribes in both regions. The cult of the starters will eventually and individually replace the ancient religion of the Regis. The mystic tribe of the Moon people settles in the vicinity of Nibi. Probably indigenous of Mount Moon, this tribe disappeared very soon, probably assimilated by the other tribes of the region. The only remaining shred of evidence of these people existent are some ceremonial stone, including the famous Moonstone and rock painting of the Nido family. The female counterparts in this painting seem to have more religion importance than their male counterparts, probably because of their role as fertility and life goddess, while their male counterparts were considered chthonic deities of death. Together with the tribe of the moon, fairy Pokemon like Chansey and Jigglypuff began to appear in the Cantonese wilderness. Seri Asukana I found the kingdom of Florabeta, which includes all the Sevian Betian colonies. Beginning of the Asukana dynasty, one of, if not, the longest and oldest monarchic dynasty in the world. The Florabetian civilization was dominated by a mix of warrior aristocracy and rich sea merchants. It was customary to bury the Florabetian warrior and Pokemon who died in battle, mummified with golden mask, in hole in which they were then sealed. The famous gold mask mummy of Seri Asukana I date back to this period. The well-preserved mummy of the monarch and his gold mask were found in his tomb near the Tanobi chambers. The warrior king of the Florabetian society were known by the epithet of Beta Hari. The linear beta script was invented preceding the Tanobic alphabet, which use will later be extended throughout the whole of Kanto. Establishment of the Florabetian military fleet, the Dahoneshi Hari, King Lapras in Old Florabetian. Construction of the Tanobi Palace in all of the island of the kingdom. Contact between the Florabetian and the Gam in Kanto were established. The kingdom of Florabetia occupies Cinnabar Island and the Seafoam Island. The kingdom of Florabeta occupies Will Island and Chanwood Island, building there a port vital for their exchange with the region of Hemujin and Yehuyol. Foundation of the colonies of Kanadagatipo on Will Island and Karidagatipo, the modern-day city of Tamba. Construction of the Tanobi Palace of Cinnabar Island, Chanwood Island and Will Island. Contacts between the Florabetian and the Alfians were established on Spring Bay, near modern-day Yoshino. As like in the most of the other Cantonese provinces, the prehistoric society of Tokiwa progressed through the hunting, fishing and gathering phase of the terracotta period, and then continued into the rice production phase with the advent of the Epsilos in Kanto, subsequently forming their village state. The Alf civilization and the Gam people come into contact and establish commercial relations. Foundation of Mazara in western Kanto. Nyokuo, the current city of Tokiwa, was founded in western Kanto. On Cinnabar Island, the colony of Puraroto, modern-day Guren, was founded. The Florabetian established a colony in Sino called Arasonu, modern-day city of Nagisa, and other small settlement in Kitakami. Foundation of Kuchiba in eastern Kanto. The Florabetian fleet spread its influence in the Seafoam Gulf and on the southern coast of Kanto. The Florabetian built the city of Fukushaban, the modern-day city of Sekichiku. Foundation of Ramuburu, modern-day city of Hanada in northern Kanto. The city-state model system, known as Shikoku, spread across Kanto and Johto. Among the most influential Cantonese Shikokus are the Shikoku of Masara, the Shikoku of Nyokuo, the Shikoku of Ramburu, and the Shikoku of Kuchiba. The location around the current city of Kuchiba has been inhabited for millennia. Archaeologists have uncovered stone and metal tools and shoulder mounts from the terracotta period in various areas nearby. The Kuchiba provinces were home to the biggest shoulder mounts in Kanto, proof of a large population in the province that depended on the rich marine product of the Seafoam Sea and the Kuchiba Bay. The Epsilon, a mysterious civilization from the Eastern Ocean, settles in Kanto and Johto. The Epsilos have brought with them numerous technological innovations in the field of agriculture, metallurgy, weaving, and handicraft. Glass, rice, bronze mirrors, agricultural tools, silk, and many other products were imported into Kanto, which led to an increase in population and improvement of life. The Gam people, mixing with the Epsilon folk and the Alfian residing in eastern Kanto, will later give life to the Kirungu-Tori civilization, ancestors of the Sakura Cantonese people. The Florabetian War was fought in the hope of breaking Florabetian expansionism in Kanto. The Cantonese Shikokus, led by the Shikoku of Mazara, form a confederation with the aim of defeating the mighty Dahoneshi Hari fleet, which was responsible for the countless Florabetian naval victories. The Cantonese alliance succeeded with the sacrifice of many and with the support of the Alfian city-state in defeating the feared Dahoneshi Hari fleet, repelling the invaders. After being freed from the Florabetians, the city of Fukushaban was renamed Sekichiku. Seri Asukana II visited Shanwood Island and Weir Island. During the late Terracotta period, the sea retreated further from the Fuxia Plain to nowadays coastlines, shifting the economy of the inhabitant from a hunting, fishing, gathering-based economy to a more agricultural one. Upon their second encounter, the Bronze Duo, a couple of archaic Pokémon that terrorized the humans and Pokémon of the Johto region, resumed their battle. The war between the two ended up affecting the entire region of Johto. The Florabetian colony of Kanadagatipo was totally demolished, and the helpless inhabitants all perished because of their fierce battle. The Tanobi Palace of Kanadagatipo and Karidagatipo was destroyed during the war between the two bronze monsters. Other cities such as Gulabi were heavily damaged as well. Florabetian merchants were forced to avoid the region, incapable of reaching their colonies due to the harsh weather. Foundation of the capital city of the Alf Kingdom, Alephipolis. Shinki, the founding hero, was crowned king and changed his name to Himeji Shirohedo. The founding of the city-state of Alephipolis, together with the birth of Kirin the Benevolent, the founder of the Church of Sinnoh in Hisui, is considered the year zero of the Kamadian calendar and of Pokemon world. King Morioka Edo Shiro expanded his influence in western Kanto, forming commercial and political alliances with the various Cantonese Shikokus. Copper coins were introduced by the Alfians as a medium of exchange in Kanto. Introduction of the Alfian calendar in Kanto, a lunisolar calendar of 7 months. The Shikoku of Western Kanto became vassal on behalf of King Morioka, to whom they paid annual tributes. The first Alfian water irrigation system was introduced in Kanto in the Shikoku of Nyokuo. Florabetian ambassadors sent by Seri Asukana III arrived in Johto, opening diplomatic and commercial relations between Alephipolis and Florabeta. With the end of the Terracotta period, also end the prehistoric era of Kanto. In the next video, we will begin with the Sakura period and the beginning of the ancient era of Kanto. Before we end, I want to make a shout out to the Italian PokeTuber Sidonia and the fanfiction writer Birdboy and his Pokédex series. Also a shout out to the YouTuber Nyogin and the YouTube channel Bodyverse. These four were the main inspiration for this series. Make sure to check their content. We reached the end of our journey. Thanks for joining me in this adventure. Hope you had a fun one. If you liked the video, please I encourage you to subscribe for more videos. And to start this year strong, can you guys get my channel to 100 subscribers before the ending of this month? It will be very helpful. With that said, let me know down in the comment section of what you thought about this time travel was. And until next time, farewell.